Hey, I'm Annie from whyyousshouldlovemusic.com, and today we're going to be talking about Big Mess by Grouplove. We're back in business. You're such a big mess, and I love you. Yeah, I love you. Welcome to your life. Yeah. It could be a fantasy. Yeah. Welcome to your world, my girl. Let it be a fantasy. Oh, yeah. I love this album. Like, legit, I love this album. It's ridiculous. I'm obsessed. I know that, like, I feel like you guys think that I say that about every album, but it's just that I only do videos about the ones that I'm, like, super hyped for. I promise I'm not this way about every album. There's lots of music that I hate. Here's the back of it. You get the artwork continued on the back, which is really fun. And I like that the font, I say font, it's pretty clearly like handwriting. I like that it's kind of different for the two different sides. You see the first side is kind of in bold, and then for the second side, it's like not in bold, thinner. There's a word for that in English. That has escaped me entirely. This album is a gatefold album, which is really fun. You got some kind of crazy pictures of the band in here on the inside, which is super fun. And they're just like, they're having a good time. Like, I want to be there. Like, I want to wear that. Actually, I really don't want to wear that dress. I don't like dresses, but that's cool. They're having a party. And I like you get all this extra paint and artwork kind of carried over, which is really fun. I feel like Hannah did that. I actually don't know, because I don't know things, because I'm ignorant. But at least I know I'm ignorant. Not sure if I should be happy about that, but we laugh so we don't cry. To the inside of the record, here's the sleeve. This sleeve is really cool. It's really thick and really nice. It's almost like a really thin cardboard rather than your traditional paper. So that's really nice. That's going to give this a lot more protection from wear and tear. Then you have, again, these fun little drawings of the band members. He's got his little Grouplove shirt on, which is super fabulous. And then over here on this side, you have the same thing. And he's holding a little note so that you know Grouplove has one torso. Only one. I don't know what that means, but I love it. I feel like there's all these band inside jokes that we get to like be a part of, and it makes me feel happy and special and loved and wonderful and all the good things in the world. I love almost everything about this album, but if I was upset about one thing, it's the fact that there are no lyric sheets in here at all, which is very sad. I really wish that there was a lyric sheet. Also on the sleeve at the bottom we have the little credits and like short little thank you note as well. It's not very long, it's tiny at the bottom, but we have it there. So the record itself is so fun. You got this crazy splatter. This is side A, and you can see the label is a big mess, which is really fun. And then here is side B, which is I think traditionally what everybody's like posting online, because I think most people's looks cooler on side B. It has more of the yellow spot in the middle. I say most people's because this record, because of the nature of its pattern, the kind of tie-dye splotchy, I don't know the technical terms. I apologize in advance. But the nature of this is that everybody's is different. So if you get the colored version, everyone's is going to be different. So yours is going to be slightly different than mine, but it will be the same like design, which is really cool. I really love this. I like the asymmetry of it. Normally that would drive me crazy because I'm a little OCD, but I like it because the album is big mess, and that's kind of the whole point of the album is just like, ah! I just want you to know, like, I wanted to throw my hands out in like a, but I would look like a chicken because I'm holding a record, so that's awkward. Now I'm just like being a chicken. So the weight of this vinyl, it's pretty sturdy, but it's not heavy. It's just, I would say, mid-range standard. It's really clean cut. I was impressed with it. One interesting thing about this album is there's actually a lot of space in the middle that they left, so I'm not sure exactly why that is. I think there's only 11 songs on it, but I feel like some of my records that have 11 songs fill up more space, but I feel like there's a lot of empty space in the middle. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera or not, but I just thought that was an interesting thing to note. This is pressed at 33 1/3 standard LP, and it's very fun. Okay, so I actually discovered this band on Spotify. I don't ever listen to Spotify, except for I was like trying to make an effort to listen to Spotify more because I like to branch out and listen to lots of different music and music radios, so that way I can get exposed to different music. And you can see why it paid off, because I found this band and I love them. Actually, I don't know them that well, but I do love this album. I've listened to this album a lot. So the first song that I heard off of this album was Welcome to Your Life. I think that was like their biggest like single breakout thing. And I loved it. I actually thought of my baby sister. When I heard it, I was like, oh, my baby sister will love this. I have to share it with her. And so I looked up the album, and then I heard Enlighten Me. It was already released as a single as well. And I think my world stopped spinning. And that's not even a joke about the track spinning. Like, I'm being serious. I was just like, jaw, meat, floor. It was crazy because it's so technical, but so emotional. Not emotional like, oh, all the feels, or like, I'm sad, or like, yeah, I'm happy. But it's just very like maybe intellectual or introspective, I guess. I don't have the correct adjectives, but I love it because it feels like a million conversations that you've had about life and about the purpose of everything. And it's just a really good track. I just love it. Has a sense of humor about it that I think is amazing, and at the same time, it's very serious and very sincere and very honest, which is really fun to find in art. When you can find art that's like serious and honest and comes from the heart, but then it's also like hilarious, then like you're done. You're good. That's it. End of story. If you've read my review on my website, you'll know that I heavily favor the first 6 tracks of this album, and then the other ones are great too. There's some amazing stuff in the second half. I think most people, some of their favorite songs are ones that I don't really listen to, and I think that that's awesome and that's great. But I'm mostly going to cover the first 6 tracks in this just because that's what I want to talk about. I'll leave the other songs to like somebody else to talk about. That being said, I have to just say the intro to Traumatized, amazing. He did this opera sneeze. That killed me. It was beautiful. It was amazing. So I bought this album based off of just the one track, Enlighten Me, and it was totally worth it, I think, for sure. I only listened to the first track of this album just because the back of the album has like swear words and stuff on it, and I don't personally listen to music like that, but if you do, it's really well written, and I don't have anything bad to say about it. I just don't listen to it for myself. So, Welcome to Your Life. What a great track. Like, what a great song, what a great story. I think that it's like this party anthem, and I think that everybody gets that. Grouplove, I feel like the people who are fans of Grouplove really understand the narrative because I feel like they're following the lives of all the band members. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know like anything about the band at all. I just have listened to their music, and then when I wrote the review, I kind of like really quickly Googled them to try and like not be completely ignorant. But what I love about this track is that I feel like it's very obvious to anyone listening what the actual narrative is of the song. And I was like, oh, that's so cute, that's so sweet, but it's also kind of fun and like and funny and sassy and party and dance. But it's very clearly like a parental commentary to a child or to a newborn, at least I think it is. And then I looked up the band and I saw that they had the 2 lead singers are married and just had a baby girl, and I was like, oh, that's totally what that track is about. I heard a lot of people though talking about how that was like a millennial lifestyle vibe, and I was just like, okay, like that's cool too if you want to interpret it that way. That's another great thing about art is that besides being a big mess, it's like whatever you want it to be. Welcome to Your Life is such a fun track because it's just like this, it's this party vibe and it's fun and it's catchy, but then it's also very serious. You know, it's talking about kind of the issues of the world and the struggles of the world and your concern for someone coming up in this world and coming into this world. But then you get the chorus, which is obviously just this beautiful message of hope and like it's okay, like you can make something beautiful out of this. And that's kind of the whole idea of the album. It's a big mess, but I love you. You know, the world is crazy and messy, and life is crazy and messy, but it can still be something really great. The second song, Do You Love Someone? I died. This is a good die, by the way. I died. So the first time I heard this song, I think I just sat, I was like on my bed, and I think I just sat there in tears for like 20 minutes laughing at the clarinet for 20 minutes. Grouplove made me sit alone by myself in an empty room laughing myself to tears about a clarinet. Well played. That's not an easy task. Okay, it just kills me. The music kills me. Like, the lyrics are so good and so wonderful and so fun. But the music is so genius and so hilarious and so like creative. Like just the creative aspect of it alone is enough for me to be so amazed. But then the intricacy of it, and I say intricacy, each of the parts individually are like really simple and very straightforward. But then when they come together, it forms this like kind of crazy conjumbled beautiful mess, like the album theme. But it forms this crazy big jumble of like epic party. It's really fun, and it's just this crazy dance party, but it's so funny. The clarinet, though, kills me. I don't know what else to say. It's hilarious. So it starts out with this clarinet line, and it's a rock. I feel like I want to say it's pretty solidly in the rock genre. So it's this rock song, and it's leading off with this clarinet doing this like do 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 line, which is hilarious. And then everything else joins in, and the singer starts singing, and you're like, wait, what is the clarinet doing here? And it's like, dude, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And you're like, okay. And then it's hilarious. So then all the other instrumentation takes over, and it kind of like hides in the background. It's like still dancing and doing its thing. And then like right before like at the pre-chorus, it kind of like assimilates and like kind of follows the guitar. And I just have this crazy like Fantasia mental image in my head that just kills me, that clarinet. And then like when you get to the end of the chorus and it like pops out again, like, I'm still here, listen to me, and there's like little clarinet jazz hands, and I die every time. Like it never gets old. Every time I hear that song, I almost just like start crying because I'm laughing so hard at the dang clarinet, which is genius and hilarious and epic and amazing. All of the instruments work together really well and are really fun, but that clarinet, man, that's just next level. I have no idea whose idea that was, but like I want to give them a high five. I want to give them like all of the high fives and like maybe a donut or something. Standing in the Sun is a really cool track. I feel like it's, I want to say epic, but it's more acoustic. So the first track I feel like was very pop synth, and then you go very rock, and then you go acoustic. So it's kind of like all of the different, I don't want to say all of the different, but a lot of the different levels and facets that the band has to offer. This one I feel like is very guitar-centric, which, you know, I kind of like guitars a little. I have a few of them. And I don't mean epic in the sense of like dun 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 dun. I just mean epic in the sense of like the scale of the song just feels grand. And well, I mean obviously we're talking about Standing in the Sun, and it just feels like the lyrics to me are just kind of like pondering the weight of the scale of the world, and like, who am I in this world? What am I in this world? What do I mean in the greater scheme of like life? And kind of like looking for respite, kind of, and just like being overwhelmed with who you are in the great big mess. Like where's my speck in this jumbled up mess of life? So I really like that track. The next song, Enlighten Me, so good. So good. I kind of already talked about it. But what I loved about this, when I first heard this track, I was just like, I saw the name of it before I clicked on it. It was a single. I saw the name of it, and I was like, because you assume it's going to be like ridiculously snarky, and you're like, bring on the sass, y'all. This is going to be fun. And you're like waiting to hear like what the snarky like, and then it's like totally serious. It's like completely sincere, like, enlighten me. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, like, that's even more genius. Like, you were waiting for this, like, witty, clever, hilarious thing, because I feel like this album has a very clear sense of humor and, like, fun about it. And so you're waiting for that kind of, like, quirky humor, and then it's serious. Not to say that it's humorless, but it's very sincere. Like, enlighten me. Like, it's someone seeking to understand. It's not like there's like an end goal. It's more like enjoying the experience of the pursuit of knowledge or understanding, which is really, really, really cool. I like that it kind of comes to the conclusion at one point. It's like, well, that's the nature of things, is that I'm never going to understand it. And then maybe I will understand it. I don't know. But I can just be where I am today, be who I am today, and then see what happens. But I really love, a lot of the lines are just so genius and so fun. The instrumentation, I have no idea what to say other than the fact that it's like perfection. I don't. Like, the writing is flawless, the production is flawless, the performance is it's just amazing. I think right now that is probably my very, I can't have favorite songs because I love too much music, but I think right now I'm like currently obsessing over that one the most because that's the most recent song that like kind of like knocked my face off my head. That was a weird metaphor that people don't use. Knocked my socks off. That's the one that people use. I'm normal. Good morning. Okay, so there's this moment every day before you wake up, but you're not asleep anymore. And it's this tiny, it could be a split second or it could be several hours. I don't know. Depends on how your morning is going. But there's this moment of awareness before consciousness is fully reached. That's this moment of simply being. And you don't know, you don't understand, you don't comprehend the world, you don't know who you are, you don't remember your life decisions, you don't remember your responsibilities, you don't remember anything about yourself. You just simply know that you exist. And all of the realities of the world that you've learned since you were a newborn baby to this day don't exist. And you simply get this reset of just being. That moment is so strange, but it's so freeing because as humans, we like to put everything in these little boxes. And it's really annoying. So, like, let's say you go to school in kindergarten and you're 5 years old, and you go to school and you're the kid with glasses, right? Let's say that. And before this, you were just you. You didn't have any, like, labels or identifiers. And then once you start going to school, whatever your first impression is, like, whatever people's first perception of you are, you get put in that box. Like, you're the jock, or you're the cool kid, or you're the nerdy kid. And once you're inside of a box, it becomes almost impossible to climb your way out. And anyone who does find their way out becomes this object of like ridicule, like put up, like, what are you doing? Get back in your box. And that's such a strange and weird thing. But every day you get this moment of freedom and of clarity where you're still you, but you have no boxes and you don't even understand the concept of boxes. I was really lucky. When I was a kid, we moved around a lot. And so I never had that. I think I had the opportunity to really explore a lot of the facets of my identity because I remember, even as a really young kid, like consciously deciding when I met new people, like, well, who do I want to be this time? Like, maybe in this state, I was the quiet kid who knew all the answers to the questions in school. And then I moved, and then I was the class clown. And then I moved, and I was the star of the track team. And then I moved, and I was the band nerd. And then, so I got to really reinvent my identity every time because these people don't have any history. They don't have any background perception of you. So whatever you decide to put forth at the beginning, that's what you are. And it's like a clean slate. And I feel like that's what this song is about. This sounds like really cynical viewpoint, but what this song is about is that you get the chance to reset your life every single day. And it's called Nighttime. And so, kind of in a lesser degree, we have all of these decisions that we lock in our life, whether it's what we study in school or what job we choose to get or other responsibilities, that we choose our life and then we're stuck with a lot of those. But every night, you kind of get a chance to reset and just be you. You don't have to be any of the labels that you've put on yourself or any of the responsibilities that you put on yourself. You can just go out with friends, go party, or you can just stay and read a book or play video games or whatever you do to just kind of escape from the reality that you've built around yourself. That's what the song's about. It feels like, sometimes as a human, it feels like every day you put a brick down. And sometimes you put a brick down purposefully, but sometimes you don't even realize that you're holding a brick and you just set it down because it's heavy. And slowly, before you realize it, you've built this like castle around you. And maybe you didn't realize that you were building it. So maybe you hate your castle, maybe it's ugly, or maybe you love your castle, but you still want to step outside every now and then and go look at the grass. And so this song is about just kind of like getting outside of yourself and allowing yourself to be whoever and whatever you want without the burden of history. It's just starting over, a rebirth every night. And kind of the lament of the end of that, I guess. A lament of the day and a praise of the night. There's this old, folklore story, I don't really know exactly what to call it, but about the two wolves that live in every man, and they're constantly battling one another. One wolf represents good and light, and the other one represents evil and darkness, and they're constant war. And you can never eradicate one or the other. And the obvious question is, well, who wins? How do you know who wins? And then the answer is whichever one you feed. And so that's kind of like a wise saying. What I love about this song, I feel like it takes that idea and turns it into a joke. It, instead of the good wolf and the bad wolf, it kind of uses the cat and the rat, which is hilarious because I feel like there's like a little bit of a bias. You get a little bit of an advantage with a cat versus a rat is a lot more unbalanced of a fight than two wolves. So I think that's hilarious as well. And the song is just so catchy and so fun. Like it's like a dance song, right? Which kind of suits the message of the release and the escape of historical life choices that have blocked you in. It's really fun to sing. And oh, also I love the black to the blue because it denotes your instant thought is obviously black and blue. You think bruised and beat up and kind of the weight and the pain of it. But then also it's talking about going from night to day, so it's the rebirth process. Anyway, so I feel like that song is really about a clean slate and resetting and being able to live, to choose for the first time every day who you want to be and who you are. Okay, so the next track, Spinning. I feel like this is a direct response to Standing in the Sun, whereas that one's talking about like waiting for waiting for it all to stand still, and this one is I can never stop my world from spinning. And where Standing in the Sun was almost like giving up or almost apathetic about the whole weight of the problems, this one kind of comes to resolution. You kind of find peace and understanding and purpose in the world. Not that the situation has changed, which I feel like is really important. This song has very much the same attitude about the world as Standing in the Sun did, but it has a very different perspective, which I think is beautiful. And this one, again, you kind of get that epic sense, but in a more like conquest type of way, like you overcoming. And I also feel like this song is in direct response to Welcome to Your Life, which is the first track. This almost feels like a fitting closing track. I know it's not the closing track. In fact, it's the beginning track on the other side, which is also amazing. But where Welcome to Your Life is talking about, bringing someone into this world and being so scared for them and so unsure and so uncertain and kind of like, how can I bring you into this world and expect you to be okay? There's so many issues, there's so much, but then kind of thinking like, well, there is hope in love and in overcoming. And this song, I feel like, is also a direct response to that, or at least calling back to that and saying like, I came up in the same world, like when I grew up, it was a crazy world and I have overcome so much, and how can I think less of you? And in fact, I think more of you. And so this song is talking about, I was broken, now I'm brave, I think is the most powerful lyric in this track. And so it's talking about how you were so concerned about the world and the state of things before, and how it was so upsetting to you. And now it's finding purpose and overcoming that. Not that anything has changed circumstantially, but that you have changed. And so I guess maybe that is a change of circumstance, although it's internalized. And how beautiful is that? You're never going to stop, you can't stop the world from spinning, but you don't need to stop the world from spinning, because it's a beautiful world and it's a beautiful mess. That sums it up for me for this album. I super love it. I feel like I didn't do a good enough job selling it to you because it's so amazing. It's intellectual, it's hilarious, it's every good adjective I can think of, and most of the ones that I can't think of. Welcome to your life, yeah, yeah. It could be a fantasy, yeah, yeah. Welcome to your world, my girl. Let it be your fantasy, oh yeah. Understandable, very osmosis. What is the word I'm looking for? Assimilatory? I don't know the word I'm looking for. But I'm like, I feel like a chicken at the wheel of a truck. Like I'm a chicken driving a truck. I need sleep. I actually don't know. Let me look. What else haven't I talked about? The world is only what you want it to be. Anyways. Oh wait, no, is that a Young Giant? I feel like there's a lyric in this album that's talking about that. But I feel like the one that I said was from a different album. That was awkward. I'm gonna do a weird soliloquy, and then if you guys don't like it, I'll just cut it from the video. We'll see. Actually, won't know if you like it or not. So if I like it, I'll cut it. You don't get a say. I'm sorry. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What is the red thing though? Oh, it's a guitar. That's awkward. Why do I feel like I'm out of breath? That song, man, just gets me apparently. My 3-year-old niece, I have to just say, is obsessed with that song. She calls it Business, and she's constantly walking, hey, here's the deal. It's really cute.